Friends, welcome to this program on why businesses borrow money. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to share with you that for us, it is a mission to spread the knowledge of finance for everyone. And that is how, friends, we have planned over next 4 to 6 months 29 subjects and 500 topics relating to finance. As part of this series, we will be covering topics like how to manage finance for 10 times growth in profit of your business, how to manage working capital for long-term sustainability of business, how to grow organically and inorganically, risk management, Indian accounting standards, and there are so many topics: valuation, SEBI regulations, cost and management accountancy, advanced financial management, train the trainers, how to enjoy life beyond work. And this is how, friends, we are going to cover over next 4 to 6 months. This session that we have today is the first program in this entire series. And the topic of this session today, friends, is why do businesses borrow money? जैसा कि मैंने पहले आपसे कहा, this is a mission for us to increase and spread the awareness and knowledge of finance to everyone. Because it is our belief that if people are having good understanding of finance, they would be able to manage not only their businesses well, but also their personal life well. And therefore, many critical questions we will be discussing in this series, starting with why do businesses borrow money? I'm sure when we talk about this question, an answer that would come to your mind is people borrow money because they do not have, and that is why they borrow. Let me tell you at this stage, it is not so. People do not borrow money just because they do not have. There are many reasons for which people borrow, and that is what we will understand in this session today. Is it possible to increase earning per share of a company without any change in the EBIT or the operating profit of a company? I'm sure all of you are well aware कि पूरी दुनिया में जितनी भी कंपनियां हैं और उन कंपनियों के जो टॉप मैनेजमेंट हैं, all of them are driven by one number, and that one number is earning per share. Earning per share. So the question is it possible that कि एक कंपनी है उसका जो ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट है that figure is not changing, and even though the operating figure profit is not changing, still the earning per share of a company is increasing. And let me tell you, friends, at this point in time, कि ये जो अर्निंग पर शेयर का जो नंबर है ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. और ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्यों है? क्योंकि अर्निंग पर शेयर का और शेयर होल्डर्स की वेल्थ का डायरेक्ट कनेक्शन है. और वो डायरेक्ट कनेक्शन क्या है? वो डायरेक्ट कनेक्शन ये है कि अगर एक कंपनी की अर्निंग पर शेयर ऊपर जाती है तो आप देखेंगे उस कंपनी के शेयर की जो मार्केट प्राइस है ऑटोमेटिकली वो भी ऊपर जाती है. और अगर एक कंपनी की अर्निंग पर शेयर ऊपर जा रही है तो उसकी मार्केट प्राइस ऊपर जा रही है. एंड इफ द मार्केट प्राइस ऑफ द शेयर इज गोइंग अप, बाय डिफॉल्ट द वेल्थ ऑफ द शेयर होल्डर्स is also going up. And when the wealth of the shareholders is going up, they feel happy. And when they feel happy, what they do? They give bonuses to the top management. And that is the reason why all over the world, earning per share is one number that drives the top management of all the companies all over the globe. तो सवाल ये है कि क्या किसी कंपनी की अर्निंग पर शेयर उसके ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट में बिना किसी चेंज के बढ़ सकती है? And let me tell you, friends, answer of course is yes. So today in this session, we are going to answer these two questions. And the third question, that is, what is the relationship between the EBITDA, capex and borrowing? यानी कि किसी भी कंपनी की EBITDA में और कैपेक्स में और बोरोइंग में क्या रिलेशनशिप है, दिस इज व्हाट वी विल कवर इन अवर नेक्स्ट वीडियो. So let us understand, let us answer these two questions with the help of a case study. And here is what I am sharing the case study with you. So there is a proposal of capital expenditure. And what the proposal is कि ये जो project है, this project which is this capital expenditure project which is proposed to be undertaken is extremely profitable, extremely profitable, with certainty of a return on investment of 30%. प्रैक्टिकली इट डज नॉट हैव एनी ऑपरेशनल रिस्क, यानी कि वो जो बनाएंगे वो बिकेगा, वो जो बनाना चाहेंगे वो बना पाएंगे, उनको कोई भी ऑपरेशनल रिस्क नहीं है, मटेरियल कॉस्ट का प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, मटेरियल का प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, पावर का प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, किसी भी तरह का लेबर का प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, किसी भी तरह का कोई भी ऑपरेशनल रिस्क उनको नहीं है. द प्रोजेक्ट कॉस्ट इज $300 million, यानी कि अगर ये प्रोजेक्ट को डालना है तो ये प्रोजेक्ट को डालने के लिए आपको $300 million का खर्चा करना पड़ेगा. एंड सिंस द रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट इज 30% and therefore the project has got a return on investment of 30%, that means it will have an operating profit of $90 million, यानी कि $90 million का उनको ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट 100% होने वाला है. अगर ये कंपनी लोन लेना चाहती है तो उसको लोन मिल सकता है, और अगर जो लोन मिलेगा वो होगा द इंटरेस्ट रेट दैट विल बी एप्लीकेबल ऑन दैट लोन इज गोइंग टू बी 10%. और ये कंपनी अगर प्रॉफिट बनाती है, जो कि दिख रहा है, द टैक्स रेट इज 40% एंड द फेस वैल्यू ऑफ एवरी शेयर इज $1. तो देखिए ये कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर का प्रपोजल है. अब इसको फंडिंग कैसे करनी है, इसको फंडिंग करने के 3 ऑप्शंस हैं. पहला ऑप्शन क्या है, पहला ऑप्शन ये है कि 100% इक्विटी बाय द प्रमोटर, यानी कि जो मालिक है, जो प्रमोटर है, वो चाहता है कि कंपनी का पूरा कंट्रोल उसके हाथ में रहे. एंड इसीलिए व्हाट ही इज सजेस्टिंग, व्हाट वन ऑप्शन दैट ही हैज इज दैट ही शुड पुट entire $300 million from his pocket, so that by way of equity, so that he is able to have the 100% control. That is option number 1. But unfortunately he does not have that much money, and what he has got only $150 million. And therefore the second option that he has to complete the project is to invite a friend of his, यानी कि वो क्या करे, अपने एक दोस्त को इनवाइट करे और उससे कहे कि देखो ये प्रोजेक्ट है, बहुत बढ़िया प्रोजेक्ट है और $300 million इसकी कॉस्ट है, 30% इसका रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट की सर्टेनिटी है, and that is why he goes and invites his friend to join him with an equity of $150 million. So 50% प्रमोटर खुद अपनी जेब से इक्विटी डाल रहा है और 50% equity is coming from a friend of his, and that is the second option that he has to complete the project. And the third option for funding this project is to go for a debt equity ratio of 2:1. यानी कि थर्ड ऑप्शन क्या है, थर्ड ऑप्शन ये है कि भाई दोस्त को बुलाने की जरूरत नहीं है, $300 million अपनी जेब से डालने की जरूरत नहीं है, उसके बजाय क्या करिए, गो टू अ बैंक, गो टू ICICI, SDFC और एनी अदर बैंक फॉर दैट मैटर, और बैंक को बोलिए कि हमारे पास में बढ़िया प्रोजेक्ट है, हम उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करना चाहते हैं, और बैंक को कहिए कि आप हमको 2:1 के रेशियो में आप डेट दीजिए. सो गो टू द बैंक, ask the bank for a debt, and the bank agrees for a debt contribution of $200 million. So that is the third option. अभी हमको क्या समझना है, हमको ये समझना है कि ये तीनों ऑप्शंस में से कौन सा ऑप्शन सबसे बढ़िया है और क्यों, which is the best option out of these three and why. And remember, that will answer our question, and that is why people borrow money. And question number 2 as to, is it possible to increase earning per share of a company when the operating profit of the company is not changing at all. तो ये जो केस स्टडी है फ्रेंड्स, इसको आगे बढ़ते हैं और लेट अस एग्जामिन कि पहले ऑप्शन में क्या होगा, सेकंड ऑप्शन में क्या होगा और थर्ड ऑप्शन में क्या होगा. सो दिस इज व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हैपन इन केस ऑफ द फर्स्ट ऑप्शन. पहले ऑप्शन में क्या होगा, प्रोजेक्ट कॉस्ट कितना है, $300 million और पूरा इक्विटी डाल रहे हैं, 100% इक्विटी ही इज पुटिंग फ्रॉम हिज पॉकेट. सो इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल इज गोइंग टू बी $300 million, एंड जैसा कि मैंने आपसे कहा कि हर एक शेयर $1 का है, फेस वैल्यू of every share is $1, and therefore the number of shares that this company will have is 300. 300 millions is going to be the number of shares. Company is not going for debt, so the debt is going to be zero. Operating profit or EBIT, as given in the case, is $90 million, and remember that will remain same, it will not change. चूंकि कंपनी ने डेट नहीं लिया है, द इंटरेस्ट इज गोइंग टू बी जीरो, एंड सिंस इंटरेस्ट इज जीरो, कंपनी का प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्स और कंपनी का प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स और अर्निंग बिफोर टैक्स इज गोइंग टू बी सेम एज द ईबीआईटी. एंड याद रखिए, ये जो ईबीआईटी है इसको पीबीआईटी भी कहते हैं, और ये जो पीबीटी है इसको ईबीटी भी कहते हैं, राइट? एंड दैट इज व्हाट यू मस्ट रिमेंबर. ओके, सो अब उनका जो पीबीटी है, प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स है, वो $90 मिलियन का है, और जैसा कि आपको केस स्टडी में बताया कि टैक्स रेट इज 40%, एंड देयरफॉर द अमाउंट ऑफ टैक्स दिस कंपनी विल पे इज $36 मिलियन, एंड द प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्स, एंड ये जो प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्स है, प्लीज रिमेंबर दिस इज ऑल्सो नोन एज अर्निंग आफ्टर टैक्स. So ये जो 36 million dollar is the amount of tax, and $90 million is the amount of the profit before tax, and therefore the earning after tax or the profit after tax this company will earn is $54 million. And remember, so what is going to be the earning per share in this case? The earning per share in this case is going to be 0.18. So how do I get 0.18? So $54 million is the earning after tax, and I divide this by the number of shares, that is 300 million. So when I solve this, in case of plan A, the company earns an earning per share of 0.18. And if you calculate the return on equity, it comes to 18%. And if you calculate the return on capital employed, it also comes to 18%. And here you must remember, friends, if a company does not have debt, अगर एक कंपनी के पास में लोन नहीं है, अगर एक कंपनी के पास में बोरोइंग नहीं है, तो वो कंपनी का जो रिटर्न ऑन इक्विटी है और जो रिटर्न ऑन कैपिटल एम्प्लॉयड है, वो दोनों नंबर सेम ही होते हैं और सेम ही होंगे. सो लेट अस लुक एट द सेकंड ऑप्शन. So what is the second option? Second option is project cost is $3 million, and equity share capital is also $300 million. And why it is $300 million? And that is because both the promoter and the owner, both of them are bringing equity only, and therefore the equity share capital is going to be $300 million. The number of shares are going to be 300 million. Debt नहीं लिया है तो वो जीरो हो गया, और प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स या ईबीआईटी का ये वो आपको पहले दिया हुआ है, $90 मिलियन हो गया. इंटरेस्ट चूंकि बोरो नहीं किया है, चूंकि लोन नहीं लिया है, इंटरेस्ट इज गोइंग टू बी जीरो. चूंकि इंटरेस्ट जीरो है तो प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स और अर्निंग बिफोर टैक्स इज गोइंग टू बी सेम एज द ईबीआईटी और पीबीआईटी, दैट इज $90 मिलियन. टैक्स का रेट 40% है, तो आपका जो टैक्स होगा, कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स होगा, दैट विल बिकम $36 मिलियन. सो $90 मिलियन माइनस $36 मिलियन, $54 million becomes the profit after tax or the earning after tax. And same formula as we discussed last time. So if you divide this earning after tax or profit after tax by the number of shares, which is 300, you will get an earning per share of 0.18. And that is the plan B against the plan A. And as we obviously, so everything is same. In this case, so therefore your return on equity is going to be 18%, and your return on capital is also going to be 18%. Let us see what happens in case of the plan 3 or plan 3. So plan 3 is project cost is $300 million. And remember, now in this case, in case of plan C, the promoter is going for funding in the debt equity ratio of 2:1. क्या मतलब है इसका? इसका मतलब ये है कि $200 मिलियन का लोन लिया है, और $100 मिलियन जो हैं वो promoter is putting by way of equity from his pocket, and therefore equity share capital is going to be $100 million. And if the equity share capital is $100 million, since the face value of every share is $1, so the number of shares are also going to be 100 million, right? And since the funding is in the ratio of 2:1, and therefore company will have a debt of $200 million US. And the operating profit obviously will remain the same because it does not change. Now that the company has taken a loan of $200 million and the loan is available at the rate of 10%, and therefore company will have to suffer an interest cost of $20 million. And therefore now the PBT will undergo a change. So profit before tax is going to be $90 million minus $20 million. So the company's profit after tax is going to be profit before tax is going to be $70 million. On this $70 million, apply the tax rate of 40%. And what this company is going to earn by way of profit, by way of tax, is $80 million. And what this company is going to earn by way of profit after tax or earning after tax is going to be $42 million. And now remember, the earning per share is going to be how much? The earning per share is going to be of 0.42. And why it is going to be 0.42? Because my profit after tax is $42 million, and I divide this by the number of shares in this case, which is 100 million. So 42 divided by $42 million divided by 100 million shares, and therefore I'm earning an earning per share of 0.42 against the earning per share of 0.18 in the previous two options. And obviously, if you will calculate the return on equity, it is going to be 42%. And how it is going to be 42%? So how do you calculate return on equity? You calculate return on equity by taking the return, which is profit after tax or earning after tax, and divided by the capital. So in this case, profit after tax is $42 million and capital is $100 million, and therefore and into 100, and therefore the return on equity is going to be 42%. And how much is going to be the return on capital employed? Return on capital employed is going to be 21%. Okay, so now let us go further and see as to, I'm sure all of you must be very clear about two things. And one thing that you must be clear is when you use the borrowing, जब आप लोन का इस्तेमाल करते हैं तो आप देखते हैं कि आपकी जो अर्निंग पर शेयर है वो बढ़ जाती है, वो बढ़ ही नहीं जाती है बल्कि सब्सटेंशियली बढ़ जाती है. And that is, remember, is reason number one as to why people borrow. And I'm sure you can connect it with my previous discussion when I said कि जब एक कंपनी की अर्निंग पर शेयर ऊपर जाती है तो उस कंपनी का जो मार्केट प्राइस है वो भी ऊपर जाती है, और जब कंपनी के शेयर की मार्केट प्राइस ऊपर जाती है तो जो कंपनी के शेयर होल्डर्स हैं उनकी वेल्थ ऑटोमेटिकली ऊपर जाती है. एंड ऑब्वियसली दैट मींस बोरोइंग इज हेल्पफुल to the promoters of the company. That is one reason. But remember, it's not the one reason alone. There are 7 more reasons for which people borrow money. तो याद रखिए, जैसा कि कई बार लोग सोचते हैं कि people borrow because they do not have money, but it is not so. It is not so. People borrow in business money not for the reason they do not have money, but for many other reasons. And what those reasons are? Those reasons are, number one, 100% control with 1/3 इन्वेस्टमेंट. तो आपने देखा कि थर्ड ऑप्शन में जब वो डेट इक्विटी रेशियो ऑफ 2:1 यूज कर रहे हैं तो उनकी जेब से $100 million जा रहा है, लेकिन ही इज एबल टू कंट्रोल the 100% of the company, that is $300 million. Number two, unlocking of USD $200 million for other projects. अगर मेरे पास में $300 million है और मैं वो $300 million अगर एक ही कंपनी में लगा दूं तो मेरा जो बिजनेस है वो रुक जाता है. लेकिन अगर मैं बोरोइंग का यूज करता हूं तो क्या होता है, मैं कंपनी में $100 million लगाता हूं और $2 million मेरे हाथ में फ्री रहते हैं, जो कि मैं दूसरे किसी प्रोजेक्ट के लिए उनका इस्तेमाल कर सकता हूं. नंबर 3, सेटिस्फैक्शन ऑफ ओनिंग मोर एसेट्स विद लेस कैपिटल. तो याद रखिए, मैंने जब बोरो किया $200 million और मैंने मेरी जेब से डाला $100 million, but I am able to control assets worth $300 million. And that is third reason as to why people borrow money. And that is because you are able to own or control the assets with less capital. Reason number 4, control on 3 companies instead of 1. तो अगर मैं $300 million एक कंपनी में लगाऊं तो एक ही कंपनी का कंट्रोल होगा, लेकिन अगर मैं $300 million 3 कंपनी में लगाऊं और बाकी का जो रिक्वायरमेंट है उसको डेट से फंड करूं, तो मैं 3 कंपनियों का कंट्रोल कर सकता हूं बजाय कि 1 कंपनी. The fifth reason as to why people borrow is flexibility of finance and the capital structure. Remember, if I get a friend of mine on the board of the company or to join me as equity partner, I do not have a flexibility. Tomorrow I have got enough profits earned in the business. I cannot ask my friend to go away because he is also a equal shareholder. And so I cannot ask him. And the worst is, even if he goes away also, what is he going to do? He is going to sell his shares to somebody else. और अगर जब अपने शेयर किसी और को जब सेल करेंगे तो याद रखिए मेरा फ्रेंड तो चला जाएगा. An unknown third party will come on the board with me, which might be even more painful. But the debt funding gives you the flexibility of financing. Now, what is the meaning of flexibility of financing? Meaning of flexibility of financing is कि जब मैं लोन लेता हूं तो अगर जैसे ही मेरे पास में इनफ प्रॉफिट हो गया तो जो $200 million का मैंने लोन लिया आईसीआईसीआई से या एचडीएफसी से या किसी और बैंक या फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन से, तो जैसे ही मेरे पास में $200 million का प्रॉफिट कमाता हूं तो मैं आई कैन टेल दी आईसीआईसीआई और एचडीएफसी, thank you very much for your debt, I do not need it any further, please take your money back and free my assets. So that is the flexibility, and which is the fifth reason as to why people borrow money. Sixth reason is saving of corporate tax. आई एम श्योर आपने देखा होगा कि जब इन्होंने इक्विटी से फंड किया तो उन्होंने कितना टैक्स भरा, उन्होंने टैक्स भरा $36 million. लेकिन जब उन्होंने डेट से फंड किया तो उन्होंने कितना टैक्स भरा, उन्होंने टैक्स भरा $28 million. दैट मीन्स बिकॉज ऑफ द tax, because of the debt that you have taken, you are paying interest, and because you are paying interest, you are saving on tax. Please remember, interest is always tax deductible, and that is why borrowing also helps you to save tax, and that is sixth reason as to why people borrow money. Seventh reason is high earning power, high return. So आपने देखा जब कंपनी बोरो नहीं करती है तो उनका अर्निंग पर शेयर कितना होता है 0.18, और जब कंपनी बोरो करती है तो उनका अर्निंग पर शेयर कितना होता है 0.42. So that means what? That means borrowing also helps you to increase your earning per share. Last but not the least, and the reason for borrowing is benefit of diversification. Please remember, if I put my $300 million into one project, and if that project fails, I am finished. But if I put this $300 million into 3 projects, one project fails, I still have 2 projects. 2 projects fails, I still have 1 project. And one project fails, so one project fails, I still have 2 projects. 2 projects fail, I still have 1 project. And that is how the borrowing also helps in benefit of risk diversification. So friends, I'm sure this must be very, very clear to every one of you as to why people borrow. So people do not borrow because they do not have money. People borrow because it gives them lot many benefits, as I have just discussed with you. There are few questions that emanate from this discussion, and what those questions are, friend, should a company borrow? When should it borrow? And how much should it borrow? And when to deleverage? So these are the 4 questions that I would like to leave with every one of you. And I would like, when you watch this video, write your answers in the comment box as to what is your response to these questions. कि क्या एक कंपनी ने बोरो करना चाहिए, और कब बोरो करना चाहिए, और कितना बोरो करना चाहिए, और अगर क्या कंपनी ने डीलेवरेजिंग भी करना चाहिए. डीलेवरेजिंग का मतलब है कि लेवरेजिंग का मतलब है बोरो करना, और डीलेवरेजिंग का मतलब है चुकाना. सो क्या एक कंपनी ने डीलेवरेजिंग भी करना चाहिए? तो अब मैं आपके क्वेश्चंस का इंतजार करूंगा, और आपके क्वेश्चंस के basis पर I will prepare my next video and I will come with you and discuss these 4 questions as well. So friends, in conclusion, why do businesses borrow? They borrow for many reasons. They borrow for many reasons. And what those many reasons are? Those many reasons are, as we have just discussed, it helps increasing in the earning per share. It helps in increasing wealth of the shareholders. It helps in maximizing the return on equity, maximizing the return on capital employed. It gives the benefit of controlling 3 companies instead of controlling 1. It gives the satisfaction of owning more assets with less money. And it also gives you the benefit of risk diversification or risk mitigation. And so that is what is number one. And that is, why do businesses borrow? They borrow for many reasons. The question number two that we started in the beginning: is it possible to increase earning per share of a company without any change in the operating profit? And of course, friends, you have seen live with your own eyes that it is possible for a company to increase its earning per share even when the operating profit or the EBIT of the company is not changing. We saw in both these situations, the operating profit was $90 million. But when the company was not borrowing, it was getting an earning per share of 0.18. And when the company was borrowing, it was getting higher earning per share of 0.42. So the second question is also answered in affirmative. And that is, yes, it is possible to increase earning per share of a company without any change in the operating profit. And that is by using the financial leverage. And one more question that I'm going to discuss with you in my next video. And that is, what is the relationship between EBITDA, capex and borrowing? यानी कि किसी कंपनी की जो EBITDA है, अर्निंग बिफोर इंटरेस्ट, टैक्स, डेप्रिसिएशन एंड एमोर्टाइजेशन, उस कंपनी का जो कैपेक्स प्लान है और उस कंपनी की जो बोरोइंग कैपेसिटी है, क्या ये तीनों में कोई रिलेशनशिप है? और अगर कोई रिलेशनशिप है तो वो क्या है? दिस इज अगेन व्हाट वी विल डिस्कस इन वन ऑफ आवर next videos. So friends, with this we come to the close of discussion on this video. Please post your doubts and queries in the comment box and we will answer the same definitely in due course. And of course, friends, hope you have found this session useful. If you did, then please share it with everyone. So अगर आपको अच्छा लगा, अगर आपको लगा कि ये जो सेशन किया है ये आपको यूजफुल लगा, तो आप इसको जरूर औरों के साथ में भी शेयर करिए. फ्रेंड्स, आई एम ऑल्सो हैप्पी टू शेयर विद यू कि मेरे यूट्यूब चैनल पर 1500 वीडियोस हैं covering various aspects like finance, management, leadership, work-life balance, and valuations. So do visit my YouTube channel and like them, subscribe them, and share those videos with everyone, because it is our mission to spread the knowledge of finance with everyone. So with this, friends, let me thank you so much for joining this session and wishing you wonderful times and hoping to see you again in our next videos. So thank you so much and wishing you wonderful times always. Thank you.